Brief in R.V. Timpson.
I suppose that'll be for Mr. Rumpole, won't it, Mr. Bernard?
Brief is clearly marked for the attention of Mrs. Phillida Erskine Brown.
Oh, yeah. I see.
I can put up with a good deal, Henry, from members of the so-called senior branch of our great profession, but I will not be called a villainous viper in the clear hearing of the clerk to the Uxbridge Magistrates' Court.
Mr. Rumpole said that.
Morning.
Oh, good morning.
Oh, Mrs. Erskine Brown, I've just entered the brief for you in R.V. Timpson.
Ah, yes, and wonderfully prepared, I don't doubt, like all Mr. Bernard's work. How's your daughter, Mr. Bernard? Polytechnic going well still, is it?
3 A's. Thank you for asking.
And still keeping up her figure skating, I'll bet. Chip off the old block, wouldn't you say so, Henry? See you in Brixton, Mr. Bernard.
You know, I always felt Mrs. Erskine Brown had a real feeling for the law.
Let's try the Irish screwdriver. There you are. Look at that. Steady as a rock. Most people would have got a man in to do a simple job like that.
Did you plug the wall, Rumpole?
A useful shelf for the support of such vital articles as the Oxford Book of English Verse, Professor Andrew Ackerman on the importance of bloodstains in the detection of crime, a copy of Archbold, the criminal barrister's Bible. Yes, that one's considerably out of date. And a spare bottle of Chateau Thames Embankment, 1983 and a half.
The instructions say plug the wall with the materials supplied before attempting to erect your easy-do convenient shelving. Did you plug the wall, Rumpole?
Never read instructions to counsel before doing a murder. Leave it to the instinct of the advocate. Never let me down in court yet.
I do notice that you haven't been in court very much lately.
Oh, a temporary lull in business. Nothing of fearful import.
It's because you're rude to solicitors. You were rude to Mr. Bernard. You told me about that. So that's why he's not sending you any briefs now, is he? Sure, that's straight.
Of course it's straight. And I was not rude to Bernard. I merely quoted Shakespeare's Richard II to him to improve his education.
Well, perhaps Mr. Bernard didn't want his education improved.
Oh, villain, viper, damned without redemption.
Well, I suppose he took that as a compliment.
He advised a client of mine to plead guilty at Uxbridge Magistrates' Court when I was held up in the tube. Would you make peace, Bernard? I said, terrible hell, make war upon your spotted soul for this offense.
It's definitely at an angle.
Really, Hilda? That's because you're definitely at an angle. One small gin and tonic at lunchtime, you start leaning like the Tower of Pisa. There you are. Look at you. Look at you. Pull yourself together.
Well, really, if that's the way that you talk to solicitors, it's no wonder that I've got you at home all day.
Members of the jury, soon this case will be over. In a little while, you will go back to your jobs and your families and forget all about it. At the most, it will be but a small part of your lives. But for my client, it concerns the whole of his life. But it is that life I leave in your hands with confidence, certain that there can only be one verdict. Not guilty. Sink down exhausted, a la Donald Wolfett, mopping the brow. Good end to a final speech, eh, Miss Always?
Oh, yes. But my client's only accused of nicking 6 frozen chicken pieces from Safeways.
I can assure you, Miss Always, it works just as well on any occasion.
Well, I was just going to start the Chambers meeting, Horace. Chop, chop.
Aye, sir.
This is it, isn't it?
This is what?
Where they decide whether they're going to let me stay on here.
Perk up, Fiona. I've cracked tougher courts than that lot in there. Oh, just one thing. Oh, Claude, the property's head in just now.
Well, Mr. Erskine Brown?
Yes, he doesn't tickle your fancy by any chance, does he? I mean, you don't find him devastatingly attractive or something, do you?
Of course not. Well, he is hardly Paul Newman, is he?
No, I don't suppose he is. Well, that's all right, then. I'll see what I can do. Oh, sorry. Am I late for evensong?
Evening, Horace.
No, Uncle Tom.
have to consider an application from Fiona Always for a permanent seat in Chambers. Mrs. Erskine Brown, you were her pupil master.
Mistress?
It is an extremely tough life at the bar for any woman, and I'm not altogether sure that Always has got what it takes. Just as for instance, she burst into tears when left alone at Thames Magistrates Court.
Oh, I know exactly how she felt.
Yes, of course, Rumpole's done a case with her.
Well, she took a note for me once. There was something about her I liked.
What?
She cares strongly about winning.
Who is this fellow Always?
The fellow's a girl, Uncle Tom.
Oh, good heavens. We're getting another one of them.
I really don't feel that the mere fact that this girl is a girl should guarantee her a place at 3 Equity Court.
Yes, Phil is absolutely right. I mean, we shouldn't take in a token woman, or rather like taking in a token black.
Are we taking in a black woman, then?
Well, why not? I could have brought one back from Africa.
This is obviously a problem that has to be taken seriously.
Yes, well, I feel we should go for a well-established man, someone who's got to know a few solicitors who can bring work into Chambers.
Oh, steady on, Portia, old fellow. Whatever happened to the quality of mercy?
I honestly don't see what mercy's got to do with it.
Dear God, it seems but yesterday when Philida Tratt, white in wig and green in experience, was accusing Henry the Clerk of hiding the lavatory key as a sexist gesture. Can it be that having stormed the Citadel, you want to slam the door behind you?
Really, Rumpole, you're not addressing a jury now.
Damn.
I don't think anyone can possibly accuse this Chambers of having the slightest prejudice against female barristers.
Oh, no, I'm sure we'll find them absolutely delightful as long as they settle somewhere else.
I don't believe this is generally known, but I have applied for a silk gown.
Oh, your sweet little Alice Blue. I'm sure you look very pretty in it.
And from what I hear, quite informally, of course.
In the bag, is it, Erskine Brown?
Well, that's not for me to say. But Philly is, of course, right behind me in this.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, with 2 QCs at the top, it would be a great pity if these chambers became weak in the tail.
What would be a pity?
If our tail got weak, Uncle Tom.
Well, of course it would.
I'm not interested in the sex side, of course, but I just don't feel that Always is the right person to carry on the best traditions of these chambers.
I agree.
So young Fiona Always must swell the ranks of the unemployed.
Oh, come on, Rumpole. She's got a rich daddy in Pulbury. She's not going to starve.
No, but she'll miss the one thing that she's always wanted to do.
Uncle Tom.
I remember a Fiona who used to work in the list office. She wasn't black, of course. No, I'm against it.
Yes, well, I think I've got the sense of the meeting. I shall tell Miss Always she'll have to look elsewhere.
Just a moment.
Yes, Rumpole, what is it?
This is not the last Thursday in the Hillary term.
No, of course it isn't.
No, well, we always settle questions of Chambers entry on the last Thursday in Hillary term.
Last Thursday of Hillary term.
Do we?
Can't say I remember.
Oh, Claude, it was long before your time. You were in rompers. Of course, if the new broom wishes to make radical changes, but I think we should stick to the old rules, don't you? After all, we don't want anarchy at number 3 Equity Court, do we?
That's in 4 weeks' time.
Exactly.
We'll deal with it then. It shouldn't take long, as we've already reached a decision.
Oh, mere formality.
Rumpole, what are you up to?
Nothing, Portia. Simply preserving the best traditions of these chambers.
Good morning, Tony.
Morning. Where's Mr. Rumpole?
Care for a fag, Tony?
Don't mind. Forgive. Mr. Rumpole's coming along later, is he?
This is Mrs. Erskine Brown, Tony. She's going to be your brief.
I see they've charged you with taking part in the robbery, not merely the receiving. Of course, they've done that on Jerry Malloy's evidence.
Mr. Rumpole's always been the Timpson's brief. You know that, Mr. Bernard. Mr. Rumpole defended my father, Uncle Cyril. He saw me through my juvenile court, my Borstal training.
Mr. Rumpole can't have done all that well for you if you got Borstal training. Please, Tony.
Well, win a few, lose a few, you know that, Mrs.
Any particular reason why Jerry Malloy should grass on you, Tony?
Look, it's very